Hi there, my friends and family and enemies. I hope you are doing well. I am feeling blessed despite the multiple invisible attacks and all the issues happening in the war on the world here. Today I've got a video for you that really gets to the heart of the issue here. Of course, the name of my video is Heart's Clarity. Flip the filter. Monkey mind is not in control. And when you're a million miles away from their bullshit slavery-based expectations of who you're really gonna be, and all your dumbass old friends can ever say is, ain't it a shame that you're skating away, skating away, skating away on the geoengineered nanotech thin ice of a fake-ass new AI day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And pretty soon everything will balance out when you find out the devil has no power at all over your heart. It's time to make a respectful brand new start. Heart's clarity. Flip the filter. Monkey mind is not in control. Love is. It's mind over matter. The jewelry of your third eye and your heart are in control of material. Money is not in control. The idea for this video comes from when I was just a 20-year-old boy, man, over half my lifetime ago, or my existence. I believe having just smoked a bowl with some friends. I was sitting in a vehicle with a friend of mine named Stephanie that later became the internationally acclaimed spiritualist musical artist called Simrit. Feeling my young hormones and philosophical awareness blossoming and growing within, I said to Stephanie, we always filter our heart and our feelings through our brain or mind when we need to filter our mind through our heart. We filter our heart through our brain when we need to filter our thoughts or brain's contents through our heart. Okay? Flip the filter. What do I mean? Do not believe the dry mental programs, the dogma, the arbitrary rules that the deceiver and all of the world's controllers gave you. The long list of what Mr. or Mrs. Right is not your true identity. That's the filter. That's the infiltration. So it's kind of the opposite of the short I made about the bug net. You also have to not only filter out the deceiver's thoughts, but learned, I have to remember this too 100%, to become 100% clear. Learn to filter your thoughts through your heart instead, and let the heart be the filter, because the heart is really what's in control. Believing in the dry, mental voice of the mind control, which has led to an epidemic in loneliness and narcissistic predators, is just, obviously it needs to end. So even if you did not know that you're arbitrarily tuned, if you're not meditating every day or taking a lot of, cannabis as well as learning how to discern, you're arbitrarily tuned to radio station MK666 on the invisible dial in your brain, beaming all of the disrespectful, separating thoughts at you, trying to exaggerate your self-destruction. You could still discover the brain is just a radio receiver or programmable computer to keep the body safe. If you are still only in 3D, imagine this. The dark side loves you so much. Imagine this, you're a Jewish guy who started a music festival called Mountain Soul. Now, I would venture to say that Anunnaki might have been involved in this, but, whichever, you're friends with the devil, but you're not really, let's say you're not really dogmatic or political about it. So, what do they do to show their love for you? For your festival called the Mountain Soul, they're going to make it cold and white all weekend. For your festival called Cali Roots, based in Jamaican-style music, it's going to be cold and white all weekend. Is this a coincidence or a conspiracy theory? You be the judge. The heart, however, is the real leader. The dark side are just fake, vampires and usurpers, takers, and powerful mind control artists who have no respect. But the heart is the real leader. The seat of awareness, the fifth dimension. This is why if you can't make it to the fifth dimension, you're not going to have awareness of the heart. It's very sad. And by the way, I want to say, big up and say thank you to the few of you who stuck with me through all these hundreds of videos and have learned and expanded your awareness through my teachings. You have helped me to get a stronger foothold into the fourth dimension to move forward. Okay, so the heart is the real and only leader that makes the body work. It pumps the blood, it energizes the body. The cause of all my illness was, of course, impurity in my thoughts and also, my diet and my friends getting in the blood, which causes most illness, or many of them. You could have the highest IQ in the world. Without an operationally mildly healthy heart, spiritual heart, you will achieve nothing. As far as your soul's growth, the heart puts out 1,000%, 1,000% of the electromagnetic power of the brain. The brain, as I've said many times, is simply a radio set receiver, something that's there to help your body function, a memory, to have memories. And this is our most overt clue, besides sexual love, like how you feel when you have sex, or when you become infatuated even with your soulmate or one of your soulmates. That feeling, all the healthy hormones and that release into your brain, and a parasympathetic nervous system, what Dr. Bruce Lipton calls the honeymoon effect setting in. Okay, these are your most overt clues that the heart is actually the only ruler over the living divine human beings, especially when you're awake, or particularly when you're awake. And this is one of the most obvious reasons why the dark side, the reptilians, as well as the ancient Anunnaki race, in other races, might have extreme telepathy, high IQs, advanced mind control, all this nanotech gadgetry, but they keep screwing up on this great reset because the dark cannot understand you if you're awake, especially because not only do they have no heart, they have no understanding of what the human heart is capable of or what it is. They do have advanced intelligence, advanced mental intelligence, even high IQs, extremely advanced AI, far more advanced than anything you've ever heard of, and as most of you, in gadgets, and telepathy. And they can get into the 11th dimension and screw you up through sabotage. But they do not have heart. They cannot live above the third dimension because they are fully about themselves. The Institute of Heart Math, it's called up in Boulder Creek, has actually scientifically designed ways to learn. The Institute of Heart Math is scientifically, through many tests and experiments, has designed ways to learn how to learn to listen to your higher heart's message, to reconnect your heart, the awareness of how to listen to your heart. This is very important in awakening. It's what Lisa Renee calls your higher heart. Another concept she came with is that the Zeta Gray race invented this thing called the 2D40 split, which I feel like they've tried to do to me here, which through trauma, through sexual misery, through heavy trauma, through sexual relations, many people's higher heart, or the spiritual functions of your heart, and also just even tuning in, the connection between your brain and your telepathy, your gut, and your heart's feelings gets shut down. You can't feel your heart. If you get the 2D40 split, it's a very harsh and horrible feeling. And if you don't heal this, it can lead to the feeling of being cold-hearted. It leads to being cold-hearted and the mentally ill. The heartless dark ETs are literally waging a war on the human heart and soul. And so they had to inject self-replicating nanotech and graphene dioxide colonies into it and dump the gain-of-function flu, possibly, through the geoengineering into 3 months of atmospheric rivers so that I would get it, spike protein nanotech in my heart. Because they're in this case, in the last 3 years, openly, physically, an assault on the human heart, physically as well as spiritually, knowing how systematically, amazingly powerful the black magician and invisible weaponry has been put into place to keep you and your heart closed and your full-on awareness closed from connecting to not only the sun but all the other suns, all of your other spiritual family, and how much, knowing a fraction of the gadgetry I've mentioned on this show and how it's been used, and only in my Cliff's Notes awareness of what's going on, and how all this is put into place to keep your heart closed and you from hearing its messages. Everything from money, rent, taxes, mortgages, traditional marriages, if one partner controls the other, narcissistic predator entities can shut down the massive powers of the higher heart. What our junior god, alien, amazing geneticist, pseudoscientist, invaders wanted to do, really they're real scientists, but demonically possessed, so we'd be dripping loose all the time. That's why they took, again, 120 years to give Tesla's inventions to the world. So we'd be dripping loose, stuck in survival, full of cancerous chemical agents and electronic agents, in a cold, heartless, dog-eat-dog world. Okay? Think about this. The average three-dimensional human, it's a pretty good analogy to compare the weather on a spray day when it's artificially cold and white, and you cannot see the sun or connect with the energies of the sun or the outer atmosphere, the ionosphere, to a sunny, warm day, beautiful, perfect 75-degree Santa Cruz day, to the awareness of someone whose heart is open. Because the person who is awake to the sacred inner divine feminine Christ, who has the healed heart, can connect and commune with the sunshine, okay? They're not in the dog-eat-dog world. Now they can even use geoengineering to take the perfect sunny 72 degrees weather here, if they want to, and make it cold and white all day the rest of the week or most of the year. Is this what has been done through many, many iterations of different types of invisible weaponry attacks and mind control and forced reincarnation and endless wars to the human heart and soul? Remember, what's invisible can never exist. If you ask your fake leaders and your dark lords in the scientism death cult, if it can't be measured by the five senses, if it's not something you can see without a microscope, if it's not in 3D and visible to the naked human eye, and not smaller than cells or larger than the planet, it doesn't exist. When you can see, like me in this show, for example, it can't be shared. It can't exist. When you can see a fraction of how powerful disassociation, cognitive dissonance, and also financial slavery and other mind-controlled attitudes coming from endless war and burning down towns are leading directly to the forced imposition to the soulless that can become the soul loss. This is leading directly to the soul loss